Hi guys, my name is Nonema Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about what happened in court. What Nxumalo did. Oh my word. Oh my word. But before we do that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you are doing that, you'll be supporting this channel financially and in numbers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Also, don't be shy with them. Super thanks. They really help. Now, let's get sorry into one thing. I think the Nxumalo video, I'll do a separate one, but I'll add some spice here and there on this one regarding him. But we will do. He needs so much respect for the work that he did in that courtroom. Now, the first thing is that this is the exact moment the state lost control of the Senzo Meyiwa trial. They don't even start to balance. They are it's I don't know the Zulu word, but I wanted to use one. It's just bad. They lost it not slowly, not gradually, not over time, instantly. They lost it the moment the defense case started. The moment the defense case started, because the defense called Ubabu Zungu, he showed some resilience. In fact, he showed strong resilience. He showed strong characteristics of an anchored Zulu man who stands for his truth. And there is absolutely nothing that they could do. And now we've got this young man. I think he is in his early 30s, if he is 30 years old already, but he is in his early 30s, Ugwabini. And one thing that you can write on is that bravo to him. Uyinsizwa, uyilento bathi yibhungu, uyilento bathi bathi yibhungu, but yes, yes, sis. I don't know how to explain him. Uyindoda, he's a proper Zulu man. Ungumnguni wangempela. Uyilanto kuthiwa indoda nto, indoda eqotho, because wow, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? If he was doing performing arts, I would be giving him 50 out of 50, 100 over 100, because that one, I shame. So, because what happened in that courtroom wasn't strategy. When it comes to Baloyi, he had no strategy at all. He was panicking, and the panic that he had exposed everything. Why am I saying that Ubaloyi was panicking? Ubaloyi didn't know what to do when Ugwabini was in courtroom now. And after every revelation, after every expose that Ugwabini gave, Ubaloyi started panicking. He didn't know what to do himself. He had even no questions for Ugwabini. He didn't know. He was so panicked to an extent that he ended up doing applications of things that never got anywhere. He wasted time. And he was busy. Because Ubaloyi never planned for Ugwabini, guys. That's the truth. He never planned Ugwabini. Ugwabini was never part of the state's Section 204 architect at all. He never planned. He was never prepped for Ugwabini's appearance in the courtroom. He was never disclosed most to him. He's gonna be a witness now. He knew maybe the defense might bring people, but I don't think Ugwabini planned for him. He never planned for Ugwabini. He never legally positioned himself for Ugwabini. He never integrated into Gininda's investigation narrative for this entire process. It took him by surprise. It took him by shock. It exposed him in many ways than I care to count, which means Ugwabini suddenly appeared in court and Ubaloyi had nothing. No legal foundation for that, no procedural roadmap, no protection plan. So he reached for the only thing he thought he could save him, Section 204, because he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. He was just scrambling. You remember that last year, December, when he didn't know what to say to Gwabini, what questions to ask, he started scaring him off with the Section 204. Do you guys remember? And also they read to him all these things about Section 204. And that was a single impulsive move detonated that it detonated the entire prosecution. And Ubalo still could not smell it, guys. He didn't know because but here is the problem. Section 204 only applies if a witness incriminates themselves in the crime. And these were the things that they read for Gwabini, if you remember. But now, was Gwabini charged for the Senzo Meyiwa case? No. So what incriminating can he do? Gwabini's statement, the so-called statement, does not place him at the murder crime scene. It does not place him anywhere near the crime scene. It does not implicate him in the Senzo Meyiwa as a murder. It does not show participation in planning or in execution. So legally, he does not qualify to be a Section 204. The reason Baloyi brought that in is because he did not know what to do, which means Baloyi didn't invoke Section 204 because it was justified. He invoked it because he panicked. He thought Judge Rata would block Gwabini from testifying. He thought the court would shut it down procedurally. He thought the court he thought Gwabini would be terrified into turning on and then start turning on advocating Messi. None of that happened for him. There was nothing was coming for him. He didn't know what to do with himself. And that's when Ubaloyi accidentally threw Brigadier Gininda under the bus. I don't know if you noticed that. He did. He threw Brigadier Gininda under the bus because he was helping himself now. Because Gininda never once described Gwabini as Section 204 witness. Why? Because Gininda knew that the statement doesn't meet the legal threshold. He understood that part. Because Gininda knew the content doesn't implicate Gwabini in the matter. He understood Gininda. Because Gininda knew invoking Section 204 would expose the arrest, the assault, and the fabrication. So Gininda kept his distance when it comes to Gwabini. Reason for that, he knew Gwabini is a ticking time bomb. And I'm sure there was exchange of words between them. Gwabini is very bold, even though he can be fearful for his life, but he's very bold. There was the exchange of words between the people. There was. So Gininda was like, let's not play with Gwabini. Gininda ended on saying Gwabini is what did he call him? He said he's a corroborative witness. He has a corroborative statement. But Baloyi did it because he panicked. And the moment Baloyi labeled a Section 204 witness, he legally detonated Gininda's investigation without even realizing that. That is what panic will do to you. Now the arrest becomes central. Now the police conduct becomes central. Now the coercion becomes central. Now the fabricated statement becomes central. Now the unlawful detention becomes central. And who ran that investigation? Brigadier Gininda. That's why Gininda suddenly becomes radioactive. And I'm sure wherever he's sitting, he's not happy with Baloyi because Nxumalo made sure of that. They fight together. I'm sure wherever they are having exchange of words because that's why he doesn't want to go back to court for that. I don't think Gininda is interested in coming back to court. I don't think so. I doubt if that is the case, but I don't know. Because Gwabini collapsed his entire narrative and his entire case. It collapsed. Then comes Judge Rata. And here's the part nobody wants to talk about. Rata didn't save the state. He exposed it. I don't know if he's aware of it or the state is aware of it, but he exposed it. When he started floating the idea of reopening the state's case, he wasn't fixing anything. He was pulling the pin out of the grain. He did not help the state. Mara, he could be thinking that he is helping them because reopening means Gwabini's arrest is interrogated, police assault is tested under oath, the statement's contradictions are dissected, Gininda's recall, Gininda is recalled or indirectly implicated. The entire investigation's integrity collapses, and now once again it comes on the on the spotlight. That's why Baloyi never intended on reopening the case. That idea did not come from him. It came from the judge, Judge Rata Mogoatleng. And it is up to Baloyi with a no weapon position now. It is up to him. Then Baloyi made it worse. He made it worse. After recess, he came back with police witnesses already lined up, ready, preloaded, expecting Rata to call the officers who arrested Gwabini. That is what Baloyi wanted to do. He was ready to sanitize the arrest, ready to control the narrative, ready to divert from coercion. That's not coincidence. That's not coincidence. That's reactive prosecution. And it was caught mid-cover up. And then comes the executioner, Advocate Nxumalo. Oh my word, called technical, precise, no theatrics. You saw for yourself in court when he was busy. Bekungawa even inality or ispelity, we would hear it. He did no theatrics. He didn't argue emotions. He argued law. He argued law. He logged into the record that Section 204 was invoked without legal basis. Gwabini does not self-incriminate. The arrest was unlawful. The statement is coerced. The narrative is fabricated. The investigation is compromised. And once that's on the court record, it cannot be undone, ever. So here is the fatal sequence. Baloyi panics, invokes Section 204 illegally, exposes Gininda's investigation, triggers Rata's procedural intervention, walks into a reopening trap, gets boxed in by Nxumalo's legal scalpel. That's not misfortune, that's collapse. And now they can't fix it. They can't fix anything. They can't rewind it. They can't procedurally judo their way out of it. It's here. It's here and it's on record because the court record now contains a contradiction that destroyed the state's credibility at the root. Gwabini was never supposed to exist in this case to begin with. Section 204 was never supposed to be part of the plan. Baloyi improvised, Gininda distanced himself, Rata accidentally exposed the mess, Nxumalo sealed it permanently. This wasn't bad. This wasn't a bad day for the prosecution. This was the day Senzo Meyiwa's case structurally broke into pieces, and it will never recover from this moment. Never. And then one thing that we can be all sure of is that Nxumalo will stand by this, and Nxumalo will see it through. He will see it through. I don't know about you, but I was so blessed with him. I was so happy with him and everything that he did to expose the judge and Gininda and Baloyi all together in one group. What are your thoughts with what was happening in court? And how did you feel about Nxumalo doing his thing? I'll speak to you on our next video. Please make sure you drop your comments in the comment section. Let's have a discussion. Thank you so much. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.